Welcome to Housing for Good, a podcast dedicated to housing topics and issues affecting our communities in McPherson County and beyond. With years of experience and expertise, hosts Chris Goodson and Karolyn Moore discuss housing challenges and opportunities with other experts from a variety of housing fields.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Housing for Good. I'm Karolyn, and
I'm Sherrie, filling in for
so
Chris
we have
this
a
week.
big treat this week in that Sherrie gets to join us for our podcast, and we are going to be talking to Rodney Denholm about credit counseling. But first, Sherrie, I've got a little bit of news. So the Housing Interagency Advisory Committee is going to be explaining their programs and how the programs can resolve housing needs. So I will be going on April 29th to Great Bend.
Bye.
To attend this meeting. It's going to have Kansas Department of Commerce, KHRC, U.S. Department of Agriculture, and Federal Home Loan Bank are all going to be there talking.
So you're going to have fun and meet with great people.
I'm hoping to learn. I think every time I hear them talk, I learn a little bit more. So I'm kind of excited about that. Trip to Great Bend it'll be early because it starts at 9. So anyway, okay. And then, Chris and I, we are part of the Kansas Housing Advocacy Network. And I wanted to give our listeners an update on some of the bills that our legislatures have been looking at. There's been discussion about getting rid of the affordable housing tax credit. So at this point, I don't think anything has passed. I think it is simply a matter of checking it out. So I'm just wanting everybody to know that House Bill 2119 was introduced January 28th. It passed the House February 20th, and it has gotten stuck in the Senate. So they'll pick that up again next legislative session. And then there was House Bill 2378, the Removal of Squatters Act. This one is one that there's a lot of discussion on both sides of the topic because it would give the owner the right to remove a squatter from the dwelling, but there's some fear that if you don't pay your rent, if you're behind, that the person owning the house could use this instead of taking you through a legal eviction. And so House Bill 2378, again, passed the House March 6th, and it's sitting in the Senate. And the final one is House Bill 2357 to seal eviction filings, allow eviction expungement, and encourage eviction mediation. This one was introduced February 2025, and it is not gone anywhere yet. So I know I've heard about both, that one in particular, on the news at night. Anyway, for our listeners, just be listening, keep your eyes and ears open to what's going on with our legislators, and because it does impact our lives and what we're able to do or what impacts us. So there's our news for the day.
Thanks, Karolyn.
You're welcome. All right. So, Rodney, introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Great. Well, thank you for having me here today.
Absolutely.
So I've switched jobs. So for about 25, 26 years, I've been with Consumer Credit Counseling Service in Salina. So it's a nonprofit agency, still there, offers budget and credit and housing counseling. So many times it's someone coming to us that had a concern or a problem. Something's not working financially.
Yeah.
And they're like, we need some help. And so we're there to do that. My new job, I've been there about 2.5 months now.
Okay.
And I am a family resource management extension agent with Kansas State University out of Abilene, and that's the Chisholm Trail District. So it's both Abilene, Dickinson, and Marion counties.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know when I first met you with Consumer Credit, you came and did a little session at one of our housing conferences.
Yes.
So that was fun. Learned a lot about credit counseling, stuff I did not know. Didn't know that it's free, and unless you start paying somebody's bills for them. And then they got to pay you to do that.
There's a fee for that.
Yeah.
And they have started charging an initial counseling fee. It's minor.
Okay.
And there's no ongoing counseling fee after that. So
Okay.
I do most of the same things in that I help people with financial questions. I can help with budgeting, credit, housing questions. But extension is also added on, which is kind of interesting. I help with the VITA program, which is the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. So
Okay.
we help people do their taxes for free, or I should say we did this year, the tax season wrapping up. Then I am in the process of becoming a SHIC counselor also, which is senior health insurance.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you're getting ready to turn 65 or you're looking at your options after that, I haven't got certified yet, but there's other agents who are. We can help you look at your choices.
Okay. Yeah, you know that senior stuff you have to make choices about gets confusing for people.
Yes.
And the fact that every year you have to go in and change something or verify that what you have still works. And I think a lot of our seniors get confused about that kind of stuff. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're here to help.
okay. So would you explain to us what credit counseling is and how it benefits individuals?
Absolutely. So credit counseling is sitting down with somebody or over the phone, is looking at where do they stand today. So we're looking at what money's coming in, what money's going out, where's it going, what are your goals? Mm-hmm. Where would you like your budget to take you in 6 months, a year, 5 years? Just to start helping plan ahead. And many times that means making adjustments.
So it's not just for somebody that's in trouble with their bills, like they feel like they're drowning because they don't have enough money at the end of the month. But this could be for anybody interested in maybe improving their credit score, figuring
Yes.
out how to get to the goals that they want, whether that's buying a house or...
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you're trying to start credit, add or improve your credit score, like you mentioned, buying a home doesn't happen overnight.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts, and a lot of it's connected to your finances and your credit. And so we're there to help you start looking at what is that roadmap
Okay.
to make that happen. Because I used to be a lender, and sometimes, people would come to the office wanting to borrow money. They haven't looked at their credit, haven't really sat down and looked at their finances. And to me, that's too late to find out what your credit report looks like if there is a blemish.
Yeah.
Not that it's too late, but it'd been nice to know that sooner so I could have worked on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what are some common misconceptions about credit counseling that you've encountered?
Some people feel like we have, or credit counseling has the authority to make your debt go away, or that the creditors are required to reduce your debt. And that's not true. Some people connect credit counseling to debt settlement. There's different ways to define what credit counseling is. Debt settlement is you're hoping that creditor would take less than what your actual balance is. And there could be some negotiating there. But there's no law that says, hey, you have to do that. It's still up to the creditor.
And that's one of those things you see commercials all the time about settling your debt.
Yeah.
Call this number and
Yes.
visit with somebody. Would you recommend before somebody actually did that maybe they reach out to credit counseling to see what can be done maybe before that?
I would. And for the reason is, credit counseling is not there to tell you what to do. They're to help you take a look at where you're at now financially. Again, what are your goals and what are your options to get there? So maybe you could call your creditor on your own, but maybe you're not quite sure what to say or what you should be asking for. Credit counseling is there to help you understand, here are your options. And if you're going to talk to them on your own, here's some things that we would suggest you might want to make sure you ask and look for.
Okay.
When I first graduated college and I started as a lender, I really believe this. My first boss said that everyone in their life ought to work in finance at least 30 days out of their life, just so you understand the lingo and what that thought process is with finances. Well, most of us don't have that job. We don't know the lingo. And so that's another thing I think credit counseling can help is understand what is that lingo that the lender's using. How are they looking at things versus how I think things should be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea. Okay, can you walk us through the typical process of working with a credit counselor? So we have somebody listening and they say, something of what he just said sticks out with me. What is something that I could expect those steps to look like? So what do you do first?
Sure. So if you were contacting consumer credit counseling, the first thing they would want to do is schedule a time, whether it's in person, by phone, and send out some paperwork. Not scary paperwork, but just basically what income's coming in. What do you think you're spending your money on? Your housing, groceries, eating out. It's filling in the gaps or filling in the blanks.
Okay.
And so that way when the counselor's reviewing your situation and looking at what are you trying to accomplish, they have at least an idea cash flow-wise what's happening and how can they gear that towards getting where you'd like to be.
And you said there was there's a small fee. Used to be no fee for you to contact a credit counselor. Now they've got a tiny fee connected to that. What other expenses would I expect by working with a credit counselor?
You mentioned at the beginning, if we're helping make payments, we
Okay.
call that a debt management plan. So that's where someone may come to us and they say, I got all these bills. I just can't keep everyone happy. What do I do? And so sometimes we're able to contact creditors and work out a payment arrangement. So instead of that person paying those 5, 6, 10, 12 debts individually, they make one payment to the agency and we disperse those checks for them. You still get your creditor statements each month, so you can still monitor your progress. But, maybe it's a credit card that has said, hey, we'll reduce the interest rate.
Okay.
So more of your money is going towards paying off debt than paying interest. And also many of the credit cards look at reducing the payment amount. So now it's more affordable. And I can see some light at the end of the tunnel. So to get back to your question, they do charge $5 per creditor. The maximum is $40 a month for a service fee.
So that could really be beneficial for somebody that every month they just feel overwhelmed.
Yes.
And they don't really feel like they're ever going to get out from underneath this. So
there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yes. And so something I always like to refer to, especially when you're in a bind, you're in that tyranny of the moment type situation where that's all you're focused on is the problem. And it's hard to be on the outside looking in and seeing what are my options. And so that's where I think credit counseling really can help is even though everything seems chaotic, the credit counseling industry has seen a lot.
Yeah.
So they can help you look at what are some of those looking outside in some of those options to help.
Well, and I know a lot of times the clients we work with, that tyranny of the moment that you talk about, we sometimes call that trauma brain.
Yes.
Because you cannot make a rational thought. You cannot put together a plan.
Right.
And so you need somebody to just help steer you and get you to where you're in a better place.
Yes.
So you can start doing that. Yeah.
Absolutely. We always think of the worst. Sometimes, I shouldn't say always, but, we can overthink things.
Absolutely.
And then we talk ourselves out of making that phone call.
Yeah. So what are some specific services that credit counselors provide beyond the credit advice?
So with consumer credit counseling, it's also a HUD certified counseling agency.
Okay.
So
Housing and urban development.
yes.
Okay.
And so if someone is thinking, hey, I want to buy a house, or hey, I'm getting out on my own and I'm going to rent a place, but I'm not sure what I can afford. We
Okay.
do pre-purchase, pre-rental counseling for somebody.
Oh, wow.
So we can look at what is affordable. Maybe you're wanting to buy a house. That conversation is probably going to include credit. Let's pull a credit report. Let's see what's in there. So there's no surprises when we go talk to the lender.
Yeah.
Maybe that credit's not quite there. Maybe we need to have some additional credit to help improve the score. We can give someone ideas about that.
Okay.
On the other end of the spectrum, we also do delinquent mortgage counseling. So maybe I'm behind. Maybe I've got a letter and it says I'm in jeopardy of foreclosure. as a HUD housing counseling agency, we can help look at the finances and conference call in the lender after we've reviewed things and we have a game plan and talk to the lender about, okay, what are some options to help this person stay in their home?
Okay, I'm going to send some people your way
There we
because
go.
we get phone calls all the time from people that are looking for help. They've gotten behind on their mortgage for one reason or another. And during COVID, there was more resources out there,
Right.
but they're not available anymore.
Not
And
as
so
much.
It gets
Right.
really difficult to even know where to send somebody. So I'm so glad you mentioned
Yeah. And that's where that lingo comes in because you might call and say, I need help. But if you don't have the right verbiage, you may not get where you'd like to be.
that. Yeah.
And so that's where I think Consumer Credit Counseling, HUD Housing Counseling Agency can help you have that conversation. Or if you're like, no, I'm going to do it on my own, we're at least going to say, hey, make sure you mention this
Okay.
or you talk about this. So,
Now, I
Okay.
remember in 2019, you were at my first time homebuyer class.
oh, yes.
So-
And we do that too. So some of the grants that are out there,
Yeah.
if you're going to get first-time homebuyer assistance, require that you do an educational class. And nowadays, it has to be through a HUD-approved agency to get that certificate. So we're one of those agencies in Kansas that offer that class.
Okay.
Yeah. And one more thing on the HUD thing, we also, for seniors, we do reverse mortgage counseling. So that's we get quite a few calls regarding that.
Okay, that's another thing you see a lot of commercials about. Is I'm buying my house, I own my house.
Right.
Now I want to be able to live, pull my mortgage out or pull my equity out of there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so because there's moving parts with that, HUD requires if you're a senior and you're going to get a reverse mortgage, you have to talk to a HUD-approved counselor first before you can actually take out the loan, so you know what your options are
Okay.
and how it works.
So, how does seeking credit counseling affect a person's credit score?
Oh, great question. Just talking with us doesn't affect it at all. If you're on a debt management program where we're helping make payments to your creditors, some of those creditors will report in your credit report. There's an area for remarks or status where the creditor can make a statement. Some creditors will report, hey, being paid through a credit counseling program. The remarks doesn't affect your score. But let's say you're wanting to finance a house, go buy a car, and that creditor pulls your credit report and you're on a plan. It's up to that creditor how they feel about credit counseling being involved at that point. There's some creditors that might say, hey, you're back on track. Things are going well. The numbers make sense. Not a problem. Whereas same day, you could go across the street to another bank, but their policy is, hey, they're going through credit counseling. It's great. They're getting things lined up and on track, but that third party is involved right now. We don't want to cause any concerns or bumps in the road. So they could say, no, we can't do anything right now while you're on that plan.
Okay. In what ways do you educate clients on managing their finances?
First step would always be, let's sit down and look at what you think things are happening. You know, what income do you have coming in? Where do you think your money's going? Probably 99.9% of the time when I sit down with somebody or I'm over the phone, I'm going to bring up, let's track our expenses for 30 days. Let's keep a spending diary daily, no judgment.
Yeah.
But just for you to know, at the end of that 30 days, what did you actually spend putting gas in the car, buying groceries? How about eating out or getting that cup of coffee ever so often? A lot of times when someone does that, they're surprised. There's something in their budget they didn't realize. Wow, there's a little more going there than I thought.
Yeah.
Well, I refer to that as spending leaks. And I catch out on myself, you're thinking, oh, $1 here, $1 there.
Yeah.
That's not bad. But if we have this spending diary and we look at 30 days, sometimes that dollar adds up to be a little bit more than what we thought.
Yeah.
And so, but we need to know that. Again, no judgment, because if my goal is to buy a house, pay off a bill, have an emergency savings account, that's money I could be using maybe to make that happen.
Yeah. Are there any good apps out there that you have found that work for that?
There are some apps, and I'm digging more into that. Okay. I mean, I'm not advertising or anything, but I know, oh my goodness, there's one called Every Dollar.
Okay.
And there's some other ones out there. The thing I ask people to be careful, some of them want access to your bank account, your checking, and because they're looking for that activity.
Yeah.
As long as you feel comfortable and you feel like that's a good site.
Yeah.
But just still monitor things. And then some also, once they get to where they may charge you a fee.
Yeah.
So you may want to ask yourself, is it worth that cost?
Yeah. You got to be careful with the cost involved in that.
Yeah.
I know with the Housing Coalition, we ask people to come show us what you're spending your money on. Uh-huh. I'm going to give you this envelope, and every time you go spend money, you get a receipt, you put it in the envelope. So you're going along and you're meeting with that person in a month, and now they've lost the envelope. So
yes,
you're starting over again. So that's why I ask about the apps, because while the receipts are nice, that only works if you keep the envelope that you're putting the receipts in. Right.
So I've got like a one-page, it's almost like ledger paper, front and back.
Yeah.
So that's what I use a lot.
Okay.
And every household's different. So we've pre-labeled the different expenses. So I tell people, cross out if that's not you.
Yeah.
Relabel it. So that way you have something for all your expenses.
Yeah.
And so envelopes, the receipts are great too. I tell folks there's like 1,000 ways to put a budget together. Mm-hmm. It's finding that one way that really clicks to you and you're like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what should individuals look for when they're choosing a credit counselor or an agency to work with?
There's a couple of things that you can do. Number one, of course, ask a lot of questions. This is your money that you're asking them to help you look at. So make sure you're comfortable with those answers. And if it's like, hey, I'm going to call you back here in a little bit after I think about things, take your time. Mm-hmm. Costs, what are the costs for that? Again, different agencies define credit counseling differently. And so there's some that charge a lot more than others.
Yeah.
So you want to find that out. For Kansas, Consumer Credit Counseling has to be certified with the State Bank Commissioner's Office.
Oh.
So if you're talking with an agency and you're thinking, hey, I might be interested, you could call the State Bank Commissioner's Office and see if they've been approved to do business for Kansans. Mm-hmm. Even though they might be in Florida or Texas, doesn't matter. You have to be approved by the state to do credit counseling here.
And you said that's the State Bank?
The State Bank Commissioner's Office, yes. So give them a call. They'd be glad to talk to you. And they also limit fees.
Okay.
So I mentioned like the debt management program, the maximum fee is $40. That's state regulated. Every state is different.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I was with Consumer Credit Counseling when they started that regulation. Before then, the fees were everywhere you could think of, and people were paying hundreds, thousands of dollars a month to help with debt management. And
well, I remember being so surprised when you came to our conference a couple of years ago that you said credit counseling was free. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I think I've seen where you pay for that. And you're like, nope. So
the counseling used to be free.
Yeah.
It's just with any nonprofit.
Yeah.
Costs go up.
Yeah.
Funding goes down.
Yes,
and so,
absolutely. But it's still going to be very, very affordable for you to contact a credit counselor.
Yeah.
Ask them what their fees are, talk with them about it, and honestly, you'll get some help. So what advice do you have for young adults who are just starting to build their credit, or for parents who they've got a sophomore, junior in high school, and they're looking at the fact that, within a very short period of time, this person is going to be going out. How do I help them build their credit without doing something that's going to hurt them?
Right. When you turn 18, even before you turn 18, you start getting credit offers. Mm-hmm. You have to be 18, legal age to sign for a contract. So, again, asking a lot of questions. Educate yourself. Not everyone offers the same cost. Mm-hmm. APR, annual percentage rate for each credit card. I see credit cards anywhere from 7% up to like 39 to 40% interest rates. There's some that charge you monthly membership fees or annual fees. Mm-hmm. You know, the last statistic I saw was from coast to coast, there was almost 6,000 different Visa and MasterCards to choose from.
Oh, my word.
And they're all different, you know. Some are, we're going to help you build your credit, but the cost might be higher.
Yeah.
So I tell people it's a game. You got to learn how to play the game. So if you're thinking about building credit and you're thinking, I might get a credit card, you know, I would suggest find a card that's not going to cost you that annual fee, membership fee. Find a card that if you use it each month or every other month and you pay it in full every month, there's no interest.
Yeah.
Okay? Because unfortunately, you build credit. Here's the game. You got to show that you borrowed money on your credit report. Mm-hmm. That's what gets reported. That's what creditors are looking at. Do you pay your bill on time? It's 35% of your credit scores on that one thing.
Wow.
So if I can go out, if I get a credit card, I tell people go out, put some gas in your car, buy some groceries, something you would have spent cash with anyway.
Okay.
Put it on the card that night, that next week, but before the end of the month, go online or whatever, pay it off.
Yeah. Okay, what about if you are a parent and you put your child on your credit card? Does that help them?
It does. It does.
Okay.
I just talked to a parent a few weeks ago about that. What they did was they added their child, teenager, as a authorized user on the card. So they got a card.
Yeah.
And so it started reporting on their credit report also. Now, what they did, though, was they didn't actually give the card to their teenager. So the teenager was getting the benefit of their parents' good credit usage.
But they're not actually using the card.
They're not using the card. Right. So, you know, and that could be maybe if I'm 18 and I'm trying to build credit, maybe a parent could co-sign on the card so I can get it with the thinking, just like I mentioned, if I get a card, I'm going to pay it off every month.
Yeah.
So I don't carry a balance. There's no interest. Make sure they don't charge interest if you pay it in full each month. And that way I'm building a record showing I can pay this on time.
Yeah.
But eventually I want my parents off the card.
Yeah. Yeah. And your parents want to see that you actually make that payment on time.
Yes, because here's the thing. As a co-signer, and I used to tell people this back in credit counseling days, even if you're co-signer number 110, you're still 100% responsible for that bill. So even though someone's telling you, oh, please sign this is going to help them get their credit built up, that could be true.
Yeah.
But if that person doesn't pay, you have to.
Yeah.
You said you would.
Okay.
Yes. One other option I could throw out quickly is if you bank somewhere, a bank or a credit union, take out a small loan.
Okay.
Ask them if they report to the credit bureaus. But if they do, take out a small loan. Maybe it's $500. Make at least 4 to 6 payments in a row. You got to show a track record.
Yeah.
And then pay it off.
Okay.
So that way it's in the report. It shows you paid on time and you did it over a length of time.
Okay. So what other tips do you have for listeners who may be struggling with debt or credit issues?
If you're looking at something you can do on your own, number one, call your creditor. As a housing counselor, talking to people who are behind on a car loan or something, they don't want your car. They want your house. They just want their payments.
Yeah.
And so don't wait till it's extreme. So if I'm thinking I'm going to be behind, that's the time to maybe have that conversation with them and say, guys, there might be a bump in the road. What can we start planning for now?
Yeah.
They may not have the answer we're looking for or you're looking for right now, but at least you've opened up that conversation. Saw another study a while back where they talked to people who had gone through foreclosure. And they asked them, when did you make that phone call to your mortgage company that things were off?
Yeah.
And almost half was about 90 days out.
Oh, wow.
That's 3 months of no contact.
Yeah.
And I've heard this many times, the longer you wait, the further it gets behind, the less options you might have. We don't want to lose those.
Yeah.
So So that could be another thing calling credit counseling is, hey, I've got this bump I think might be coming up in the road. What can I do now to prevent that? And that could be, again, a situation where, hey, the counselor can help make that conference call with the lender and have that conversation.
Yeah. So you just made me think. So my husband, he pays our bills. And we get our cell phone bill. And if they have in any way raised anything on that bill, he calls them and says, whoa, wait a minute. You've raised this without me knowing, and now I got my bill and I don't like this. Do you know, more often than not, he gets them to put that back where it was or to take that extra fee or whatever off. And so there's ways of talking with the folks you owe money to before it gets to be a problem.
Yes.
I tell people, don't be afraid. You've got to have the conversation. Let's just do it. So
it's easier to have that conversation now than wait a year later and say, guys, this wasn't supposed to happen. It's harder to accomplish something as it's older.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You brought up another good point. Whether it's a utility bill, a credit card, whatever, look at the statements, and most of it's online now on your phone or your computer.
Yes.
Make sure you take time and look at those online so you know, hey, it went higher. Why?
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been a very good episode of Housing for Good. Thank you for joining us. If you would please leave us a review and let us know if you would be interested in being on our show, or you know somebody that'd be great to interview. You can leave us that review or that information at housingforgood@mcphersonhc.org. Thank you for listening for Housing for Good, and have a great day.